On to the next god-awful monstrosity that is anime. Majimoji Rurumo. One more time.
For all those who didn't
Majimoji Rurumo. How about that?
All right. I'll accept that.
All right. Have you seen that Haruhi Suzumiya show?
I don't recall.
All right. Well, in it, there's this alien girl who doesn't really have much emotion. She's just like, I am human. I do not have emotion. You know the one I'm talking about?
Yeah, Haruhi.
No.
Is that Haruhi?
No, yeah, go on.
Anywho, there's this episode where they're filming some god-awful TV show, and it's like the last episode, but they put it as the first episode because they're idiots or something. And she's like a witch girl. You remember this?
Laven remembers. He's just pretending.
Yeah, I got it. Pat, keep going.
Okay. Someone saw that and said, all right, take that girl, make her about 10 years younger, and make that witch's hat about 10 times bigger. And then this show was born. Okay, now I don't mean that as a joke. When you see this, you're like, that girl looks exactly like the other girl, and she acts the exact same way, except she's a witch. So, okay, they clearly plagiarized that, but all right, whatever. So basically same character, except she also has a talking cat. Oh, spoiler alert, you don't find out it talks till the end.
What'd you bet? I was going to watch
that. Oh, mamma mia! Settle down, Laven. This is why your dad left, for crying out loud.
Oh yeah, spoiler alert, he's not coming back.
One night, he went out for a pack of cigarettes, came home, smoked one, and then said, I'm leaving and never coming back. And then he left, and he never came back. All right. Anywho, there's a pervy boy, and he got a magic book, and he wished for some girl's panties, and then one day...
Wait, hold on. He wished for the panties, and just that's it? And he's magic? He can wish whatever he wants?
Well, he's not magic. He found a magic book, and he got one wish.
He got one... Hold, that's even worse. He got one wish, and that was his wish?
Yeah.
Could it be whatever he wanted?
Yeah, I think so.
I would have just stopped watching the show.
Anywho, as it turns out, in the back of the book, it's like, hey, you can get any wish you want, but you'll be killed in 2 days. We didn't read that part. So the witch shows up, and she's like, hello, you will die in 2 days. And he's like, oh, no, I don't want to die. Why? And she's like, you wished for panties, so you got some. And they're my panties, and they're the only panties I've got. And he's like, wait, little 10-year-old girl, you mean you aren't wearing panties? He's like, I may be dying at the end of the day, but I'm going to try to look up this girl's skirt for the rest of the episode. And it's just so creepy. She's like 10 years old, and he's like, hey, why don't you go up the slide? Yeah, get on up there, nice and high. Nice and... Oh, no, I tripped, and oh, God, this cat's right in front of my view of her underbritches. Oh, no. We'll have to just go somewhere else and try looking up your skirt again. And so, then at the end, like halfway through the episode, this monster comes down, and she's like, oh, yeah, it turns out you won't be killed. Those panties were mine, and you're not supposed to give humans things that are yours, so I'm going to go to prison for 160 years. And he's like, no, put the panties back on. She's like, oh, I'm too embarrassed because you're here. And so he just runs up there, puts the panties on her, and she doesn't go to prison. Although birds do attack him for several hours as a punishment or something. It didn't make a lot of sense. So that was half the episode. Then he comes to, and he gets some tickets, which are magic, and he can make wishes with them. There's something, he's a part of the occult club.
That's how you found the magic book, huh?
Yeah. And he's like, the girl with really large breasts, we have her bra for some reason, so why don't you put it back on her? And he's like, all right. And then he wishes to be invisible, and he's about to put the bra back on her, and the girl tells this heartfelt story. She's like, my sister, before she left for America, bought me that bra. and now it's the only thing I have left of her.
Wait, who wished for that?
The girl with big breasts who doesn't have her bra, and he has her bra.
She wished for the bra? No, who wished for the bra?
She was just mentioning. No one wished for the bra. He just happened to have it. Okay.
Oh, I thought you said he was wishing for something again.
No, he wished to be invisible.
No, that's it. Yeah, but how?
The magic tickets.
With the tickets. Yeah, the magic tickets.
Isn't he going to die in 2 days again or whatever?
No. He's okay. He was just attacked by some birds.
Okay, but he's not using the same mechanism to wish, so like that
No.
will still
Now
apply?
he has tickets.
Oh, I guess I missed that part. Sorry. Did you explain about the tickets?
Pay attention.
Yeah, he got some tickets. That's
All
what
right,
I said.
All right, I'm sorry. All right, moving on.
Anywho, he's invisible and he's gonna. I'm a little confused at this point. He's like going to put her bra on her, but she's wearing a shirt and that wouldn't work. But then he hears this touching story of her sister bought that bra for her, and he's like, I guess I won't do weird stuff. And he just, I don't know, goes off. And I guess the thing is, he's supposed to be like a pervert with a heart of gold, and at the last second when he can do the creepy thing, he doesn't. Although there was that one scene where there's some girl and she drops some papers, and he's like, oh, let me help you pick them up. And he looks over and he can see her panties, and he's like, oh, right, yeah, well, I'm done. And, yeah, so he's kind of creepy. Anywho, there's 666 magic tickets, and once he runs through them all, he dies.
Oh, all right.
And
Yeah.
he knows that he'll die when he uses them all.
Yeah, the talking cat told him.
It sounds to me like the Japanese people need to start having some more intercourse and stop funneling all that energy into these dumb shows.
You know what I would advise him to do? Pick up a good book and read it. You know, just the other night, I read Ernest Hemingway's The Old Man and the Sea.
For the first time?
Yeah, first time.
Well, that's a good book.
Ah, I like that. He's, hardcore guy. There was no scene where he accidentally grabbed some girl's breast. It's just a guy out there fishing and being hardcore and such.
Now, what about the scene where he led the little girl up the ladder and tried to look at her panties, but then tripped at the last second?
Ernest Hemingway would never. Oh, you're talking about the show. Oh, my apologies. Yeah, he did like 20 things to try to look up her skirt. He tried to do a Marilyn Monroe where he had her like stand over some grate that had air coming up, but her skirt didn't fly up enough, and he had her get on some swings, but I don't know, the skirt was under her and it didn't work, and yeah, and it didn't really work out.
Darn.
You know, I watched this show.
You watched the show?
Yeah, I watched a couple episodes of it.
Yeah, does it get better?
No, it stays about the same. It actually gets worse. The reason I stopped watching it is because they have an episode where these kittens are really sick and they get left out in the rain. And one kitten gets so sick, and, at the end of the episode, he tries to use his magic ticket to save it, but he's too late and the kitten died. And I don't care how bad you are, you can't kill a kitten.
Well, he's a pervert with a heart of gold. He tried to save the kitten.
You kill a dog, like in Codebreaker, or you kill a kitten, like in whatever the jumble of syllables this was called.
Majimoji Rurumo.
Yep.
Yeah.
Drop.
Yep. No. You just don't. It's just a bad thing.
Okay. Yeah, on to the next one.
How many of these did you watch, Patrick?
Oh my, we got a list.
You have swaths of free time.
Oh
That's what
yeah,
I'm saying.
we got a list. All right, next one, Lord Marksman and Vanadis. It starts off. There's been a battle, and a lot of people are dead. And there's this archer, and he's kind of hiding out. And he looks over and he sees several knights, and he notices one of them. She is a war maiden. And she's like the head general or something. And he's like, all right, if I can take her out, then my kingdom will, do better. So he's like, all right, let's do this thing. And he runs out in front of them, takes out 2 arrows, shoots them, boom. The 2 horses on either side of her go down, the 2 knights fall off. And she looks straight at him and is like, let's do this thing. She starts running at him. Another arrow, But it turns out she's basically invincible because she's protected by wind or something. And then he shoots another arrow and it doesn't do anything. And she goes up and she's like, hey, I like you. You got some spunk. Why don't you come back and, be my night guy?
Is that a euphemism? The night guy?
No.
Okay.
It's. Would you rather me say squire?
They're opposing armies, and he's trying to take her down.
Yeah. And she just, killed all his friends, and he killed some of her people. Yeah. And didn't make a lot of sense. Anywho, she captured him, and she, his little fiefdom needs to pay an outlandish ransom, or he has to, work for her now. And so he's now there. Turns out he's pretty good at arching. And she's got some sizable knockers, and her squire girl does as well, and I guess that's something.
That's pretty neat, I guess.
Yeah, and it turns out that his old kingdom, the king was actually pretty mean.
That's how it turns out.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, there's a scene where he's walking along and he looks over at the shower area, and all the guys there are looking at him like, hey, there's a guy that killed all of our friends. And he's like, yeah, maybe I won't shower there. And he keeps walking. And he's just kind of going around back behind the walls of this castle. And he looks up and he's like, hey, a little dragon, ain't that something? And then you hear someone's voice, so oh, hey, how's it going? And he looks up, and it's the little war maiden, completely naked, taking a shower or something. But it didn't make a lot of sense, because why is there walls around the place, but you're taking a shower outside the walls? And why do you not have, a room, because you're the general? And why are you not, hey, go away? Yeah, I don't know. It didn't quite make sense.
You mean she didn't flip out and smack him in the face when he saw her?
Yeah, you'd think he would, wouldn't she? And at that point, I was like, oh, come on. Just keep a little bit of pride, I grant you aren't trying to look up under some little girl's panties for half an episode and then doing some weird thing with the girl with big boobs for the other half. But still, you shouldn't be sinking this low. Keep a little bit of pride. That old man in the sea, did he ever once sneak up on some girl who was taking a shower? No.
Not once.
He was an old man who worked for everything he had. And that fish, well, I won't spoil it for you. So what do you think? Good sounding show? Awful sounding show? What do you think?
Wait, was that the end?
Yeah, that was the end of the episode. Saw and she's bathing. Oh, I think some people are going to attack his fiefdom. I think that also happened at the end. But yeah, her bathing was basically why everyone who watches the show came to watch it.
I always avoid those kind of war, ancient history anime.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of those fantasy older shows either.
Yeah.
But the guy, so he's still loyal to his kingdom and cares when they're attacked, but now he's working for the other
he cares
one?
about his fiefdom, but not really about the kingdom.
Oh.
Also, it's his old king is attacking his own fiefdom, which doesn't make a lot of sense.
So is he allies with the naked girls team now?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's going to work for her.
All right.
Didn't make a lot of sense, but it was there. I'll give him that. It was there. On to the next one. Les fruits de l'Angricia.
What?
Les fruits de l'Angricia.
All right.
Starts off, secret agent boy has just arrived at a school, and his principal/teacher shows up and is driving him. And she's apparently a terrible driver, almost gets him killed a couple times. I don't know if that'll show up or not. She's kind of comic relief, maybe. Anywho, he gets to the school, and it's a special school because, I don't know, he's a secret agent guy and he can't just go to school anywhere. There are 5 other students at that school. They're all girls. And but what's weird is the school is full sized, even though there's just 6 students and 1 teacher/principal. I don't know. They have a lot of room. So he shows up, and a girl in a maid outfit comes out and is like, "Hey, how's it going? I'm really happy. I'm in a maid outfit. People think I serve." And it's like, and he's just looking at her with his secret agent eyes, and he's like, "Okay, I've seen some things. I've seen a man's eyes turn to juju beans, and I just don't know how to sleep at night." Maybe he didn't say that, but she was going kind of crazy, and then there was some other shy girl. She was running around, and then the main character girl, she showed up, and she's like trying to brush shy girl's hair, and that was kind of an awkward scene. And he looks over and is like, "Hey, how's it going? I'm the new guy." And they're like, "Oh, hi, how you doing?" Then he takes a shower, and believe me, he is fit as a fiddle. All right? And I can say that because everything except the junk was shown. All right? Full display. I mean, it was like seeing a Greek statue chiseled out of marble from behind. You know what I'm saying? That guy, he was a looker.
He's his real dreamboat.
He's what do they call it? The eye candy, I think. Oh, and he also looks at that one, I don't know what her name. Basically, the girl who clearly is going to be the love interest, and he's like, women with big breasts, I've never been very comfortable around them because Master, the sensei, she had big breasts too. I'm like, all right, thanks for telling me that. So he goes to school, and he sees this tsundere girl, and she's like dyed her hair blonde and put it in 2 pigtails because she says all tsundere characters have to have that. But she also kind of scared and jittery, and so he'll be like, "Hey, how's it going?" And she's like, "Hey, you should call me this." And then she'll go back, "Oh no, why did I say that? Why did you?" And then he's like, "Are you okay?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm okay." And then she goes, "Oh, well, I'm going crazy." And I was like, all right, I guess that's her thing.
What? So she's like mentally unstable?
Yeah, probably. And then let's see. Last girl is a quiet one, and she's tries to stab him. Yeah, so I guess that's her.
Wait, she tries to stab him?
Yeah, tries to stab him. Kind of box cutter type knives.
Like ongoing or once or?
Well, I don't know. It's just one episode, but yeah, she tried to stab him. I don't know what more you want me to tell you.
Okay.
Yeah, old Stabby is over there. So yeah, you got Tsundere, quiet girl, maid girl. You got Stabby and Boobs McGee. A whole lot of them. Anywho, he goes back to his room and he's like, "Oh my, someone's been into my room because I put some tape over the door and it's been broken." And he opens it up and Boobs McGee is in there and she's naked. And he's like, "Hey, what are you doing in here?" And she's like, "Oh, my room's on the 2nd floor, and I don't like changing all the way up there. So as soon as I come in, this is the first door, and I get changed here." And she's like, right? And he's like, "Yeah, okay, whatever." And then, I don't know, there's this kind of weird, like, aren't you getting dressed soon? I mean, he's here, but okay, I guess you can just keep standing there. This is odd. So yeah, she eventually gets dressed and leaves. And then he looks under his bed and there's a massive sniper rifle. And he's like, "I guess we gotta get down to business." And then it goes off to all the other girls and they're like making bombs and they're picking locks and they got knives and stuff. And you're like, oh, all is not what it seems in the state of Denmark. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're all secret agents.
Okay.
That's why they're at the school. It's because it's a school for secret agents.
For 6 secret agents.
Yeah. Well, Stabby, she said, "Hey, I will never forgive you." And I'm like, huh, whatever you know, is there or something?
This sounds like the next show we need to like watch a couple episodes of together.
Yeah, I like this. This is great.
You like Stabby?
Wait, hold on. What's the name of the show?
Le Fruit de la Grisaia.
So where's the fruits come in? Are there any fruits at the school or?
I'm guessing if you look it up, it'll turn out to be like, the bitter fruit that kills.
Of death.
Yeah, of death.
They weren't literally holding fruits or anything.
No.
Yeah, I might give this a shot, actually. It sounds kind of interesting.
It wasn't terrible. What could be that?
I feel like it might be terrible, but it might be just terrible enough to be entertaining.
Yeah.
I kind of did like how he's, I don't know, super agent-y. Gave me hope that he was going to kill someone.
Because they're all so insufferable that some of them need to die.
I don't know. I just, sometimes you got Game of Thrones it up, Gotta kill off a few of the main characters.
I'm reading the synopsis. I feel like that might happen. I don't know. There's only 6 of them, though, so maybe not till the very last episode.
You know what I hope? That teacher dies. I think that'd be cool.
Is the teacher an assassin, too? Like, why does she want to hang out with all these assassins?
She seems kind of ditzy.
Of course.
She's going to be the first to go.
She's the comic humor, She's comic relief. She's like, hey, how's it going, everybody? And then, pow, pow, pow.
Hey, Stabby, calm down. Come up to the
We gotta
board.
get a new teacher up in here.
Turns out I'm a maid. A maid who's gonna make you dead. Huh? That could be her thing. Well, you two can, watch that without me if you want.
I'm looking at the character page for the main character of La Fruits de la Grisaia,
Yeah.
and look at his name. I don't know if somebody...
Juji Kazami? Is
No,
that it?
Does he have?
And-
He must have all those.
Look at his
nicknames.
nicknames. Yuji 9029, Papa, Onichan, Juicy, Shorty, Yuzuri, Genie, Kazami.
9029. Papa. Juicy.
Juicy's the best one.
Okay.
How can he be Papa and brother?
No, Papa, no.
Does everyone call him a different one?
He's the janitor too, technically, if you read the first line of the description.
I clean up some messes, if you know what I'm saying.
They call him a lot of stuff. His followers can't seem to get it right.
I don't recall him ever being called those other things, but he is a secret agent. He's probably got a couple names up his sleeve.
It's only episode 1. He's got to go meet his dealer or his information people.
I bet each of the girls use one of those nicknames for him.
Probably. Up next is a famous one. I believe it originally came out in 1995, has been redone, and is called Parasyte. Have you two heard of this?
No.
I've heard of it, yeah.
Well, anywho, it's kind of a scary one. It starts out, there's a man and a woman, and they're just standing there, and then the man, his head opens up into this scary monster, and it goes to the woman. She's like, no! And then he eats her. And then it cuts to the opening song. Then it goes over to our main character, and he wakes up. He's like, what? Oh, God, I hardly got any sleep. And he walks downstairs, and they're like, well, you gotta eat something, boy. You're growing, boy. Have a little to eat. And he's like, nah, Ma, I'll just have some toast. And he freaks out because he sees a spider, and I don't know, then he goes to school.
It's a good addition to the story.
Yeah, it'll come up. All right, so he's going off to school, and this girl kind of runs up behind him, and she's about to judo chop his head, but then suddenly his hand goes up and stops her. And she's like, oh, you probably saw me coming up from behind you. And he's like, what? Oh, no, I didn't, seriously. And then they both stop, and they're like, what? And he looks down, and he's grabbing her breasts. And at that moment, I'm like, no. You can't kill someone and pull this crap. Oh, no. Have a little pride. Just a shred, people. Come on. And so he's like, what? Oh, I can't play. And then she gets angry and slaps him and runs off. And then his other girly friend comes up and is like, hey, you shouldn't have done that. Don't worry, I'll apologize for you. And he's like, all right, we're all friends here. Anywho, he's off at school, and he's coming back home, and his hand starts to do some weird stuff. And he's like, what? Whoa, what's going on? And then, an eye is in his hand. He's like, what's going on? And he runs up into his room, And he looks at it, he's like, what are you? What's going on? And his hand starts to morph into this, like, alien with eyes and fingers. And then, boom, it goes to the night before. When, from space, some space parasites start coming down. And a little worm, it's coming for him. And it's going to go in his ear, but he's wearing headphones. And it's coming around, and he wakes up, and he's like, oh no! And he's trying to hit it, and then it, like, jumps into his right hand. And so he gets the little cords from his headphones, and he's, like, tying off his arm as tight as he can so the worm can't wither its way up into his brain. And when he comes to in the morning, it's gone. But what happened was, they have a very short time before they can mature. And normally they want to mature in your brain so they can control the whole body, but it couldn't. So it basically just has control of his right arm. And it's like, look, sorry about the whole trying to kill you thing, but, we're in this together now, all right? I can't move. I've already matured. So I'm just going to be your right-hand man. You're not going to tell the police on me. Everything's going to be all right. All right? What do you say? Huh? And, of course, he's freaking out. And that's why he grabbed that girl's breast, I betcha.
The alien grabbed it.
In hindsight, yeah.
His hand had a mind of its own, if you know what I'm saying, huh? For some reason, that doesn't hold up in court, but maybe after this anime it will.
Sets a new precedent.
So, yeah, then he goes down in the morning, and his mom's like, you gotta eat something, Jerry. You're a growing boy. And he's like, I feel hungry. I feel almost like I'm eating for two. Huh? I get it? Yeah, I guess you don't know about my hand, but all right. And then there's like a spider, and his dad's like, oh, don't freak out over that. And he's like, oh, just a spider. And he grabs it with his right hand and throws it away. And they're like, oh, that was one. So he's walking down the street, and his hand is like, hey, there's another monster alien parasite thing. And it's just around the corner. Why don't we go over there? And he's like, well, I'd rather not. And he's like, let's go. And they start going over there. And it's this dog alien thing, and it's eating another dog. And it looks over, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to kill your human friend because I don't trust him. And he gets like the dog, and it's like, I don't know, has it like rip itself apart so it can start flying, and then the hand like shoots out and rips the dog's heart out, and he's like, yeah, I got him. He's dead. I'm just like, what the heck? So, yeah, there are parasites coming down from space, and they're taking over people and killing people, and it's scary. But you also get to feel up a girl's boobs every so often, so, there's a little something for you who are in for the fan serve, if you know what I'm saying.
Okay.
I do know what you're saying. I'm pretty into it.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Get some. You know what I'm talking about? You gotta eat, you Jerry. You're a growing boy.
That's the pull quote from the anime.
Yeah.
Yeah, watch it. She says it.
Yeah, it looks like an old manga from the 80s that they just remade.
Yeah. I think it was an anime back in 95. A good year for, Bill Clinton. He was living life to the fullest.
He was.
O.J. Simpson, that trial, good year. Good year. We got a few more.
You watched a trove of things. It's crazy.
All right, Patrick, come on. I'm almost done with this god-awful mess that is the Anibros. All night long, all day strong, you know what I'm saying?
I don't.
Next episode, Terra Formars. Either of you see this one?
I
haven't seen it. I've heard of it.
Oh, you've heard of it. All right. Well, anywho, there's this real buff Japanese feller, and he's down in a cage fight in Thailand. All right? We are starting off on the right foot. All these rich people up in the stands, and they are looking to see a fight to the death. The announcer guy comes out and says, in this corner, weighing in at 100 and something kilograms, the man with the fist who's fighting to save this girl's life. And then it flashes back, and there's some sick. I'm sick. He's like, don't worry, I'm gonna fight. I'm going to get you that operation, Charlene. I'm going to save you. And it pops back to him, and he's like, let's do this thing. And the announcer guy says, and in this corner, all the way from the movie Semi-Pro, the Flint, Michigan tropics' very own, a bear. And a bear comes out. And you're like, this is what I'm talking about. And so he's like, all right, let's do this thing. And so he like climbs up the because it's a cage fight, and he's climbing up and he's looking down at the bear below, and he says to all the you ready for this? And he jumps down and he gets the bear and he locks it in his by his head, and he's like, yeah. And then the bear flips him over, starts beating the crap out of him, and then starts eating his stomach. And there's just like blood flying on. Oh, I guess he loses this one. But then his face gets all strong, and he's like, yeah, and he jumps up and he kills the bear somehow. And I'm like, oh, I guess that's a thing. I don't know. He has some like genetic-y thing that he can be hardcore and kill things. I didn't make a lot of sense. Anywho, there are a couple of secret agent types up in the back corner watching this, and they're like, this is the guy we've been looking for. And so he's back in the back manager's office, and he's beating the guy up. He's like, where's my money? Where's my kidney? I need to save Charlene. I need a new heart, son. And he's like, I love that girl. And the manager guy's like, what do you want from me? I'm a scumbag. I don't got no money. You know, I didn't think you would fight that bear and live. He's a freaking bear, you know. And then the secret agent people come up and like, we tried to save the girl, but she died. No, Charlene. Like, don't worry though. We're gonna give you a surgery. And he's like, I'm passing out, but what are you talking about? And so he wakes up, and they're like, you just had a surgery. Most people die from it, so we're glad you went through with it. You're like, what's going on? What? He's like, as you may know, space sickness is killing people. It killed that girl of yours, the space sickness. I'm not making that name up. That's what they call it, space sickness. Like, so what we got to do? We got to go to Mars. We've got to get some space sickness, and we got to bring it back here to save all the other children who are dying. And I'm like, what? I didn't quite catch that last one. But they didn't go too deep into it. I mean, you know, all the biology and such, they didn't want to get
You just got to
too
get the
in-depth.
space sickness.
Yeah.
Put it in a jar.
So he's like coming up, and, you know, they're like, all right, we're part of NASA. It's kind of like NASA, but future-y. And we're going to send some people up to Mars, you know, get some space sickness stuff, and then, you know, come back. So he goes out in the hallway, and there's some couple of dicks. This one girl, another girl with big boobs, and they're out there, and they're like, yeah, we want to go to space, huh? Let's get the surgery. And it's like, you know, most people die from the surgery. And they're like, what can you do? And then the next day they show up, and they're like, all right, everybody. We're getting on a spaceship, going to Mars. All right? Like, all right. A lot of people die up on Mars, you know? It's a tough planet. But years ago, they sent some moss and some cockroaches up there to terraform the planet. The cockroaches, they evolved into really big human-looking cockroaches that are good at fighting, and they'll kill you once you get up there. But we're sending you up there. Got to fight them damn cockroaches. We got to get that space sickness in a vial. We got to bring it back here. We got to save everyone. All right, who's with me? And they're all right, let's go. And they get in the spaceship. Yeah, that's the end of the episode.
The cockroaches evolved from living on Mars with some mold.
Yeah. Now they're real big, tough, human-looking cockroaches.
This is amazing. This is my favorite thing I've ever heard. I want to watch that show.
Isn't this just like... Did you just like cut up a ton of B science movies and like, let's just jam it all together, all right? Jerry, you got the bear fight scene? It's like, yeah, I'm on it. All right.
You got the secret agent
Let's get
surgery
him fighting
scene.
some cockroaches. All right.
The secret surgery is great.
Yeah.
Wait, so what did the surgery do? Make him resist space
It made
sickness?
it so you can stay on Mars. Because Mars, it's tough up there.
Most people die from the surgery.
Most people die from it. This guy's hardcore.
I love that. Most people, most people die from the surgery. We want it anyway.
We're real glad you did.
Yeah. So that's you, NASA, for you.
Yeah, I'll probably watch that.
I remember when the manga came out, it kind of, everyone was talking about it. Like it was something exciting going on.
I mean, was it the Attack on Titan of its day?
It had a buzz. I don't know if it was Attack
Was
on
it
Titan
the
level.
Sword Art Online of its generation?
Probably not that
Yes.
much, but
It reminds me of like a new type of blue gender. Not in the way that Patrick described it. That doesn't remind me of anything that I've ever heard before in my life. But the actual plot here and everything, it taking itself seriously reminds me of blue gender.
This is what my guess. All right, he gets up there. He gets kind of off on his own and captured by some cockroaches. All right. And then there's a scene where he wakes up and like, get your hands off me, you damn dirty cockroach. And then, the cockroach princess falls in love with them. And they find out that, they don't have that much in different. And then he's got to go out and stop
do you
the
mean they don't have that much
cockroaches
different?
and humans fighting each other.
Is she a cockroach
And,
or isn't she?
Well, yeah, but she's evolved to be like a big human-like cockroach.
From a cockroach in mold, right? Not from any human DNA.
There might have been a little human DNA down there. You never know. Look, this is my guess. I'm not saying it's going to come true, all right? But it's my guess.
Anything is possible. I'll give you that.
I mean, did you see the cockroach Mars thing coming? No.
Not
Well,
particularly.
then can you really say the cockroach princess, him falling in love idea is really that outrageous?
Kind of. It's a little too far.
All right. Yeah. You know what I would like? If they brought some elephants up onto Mars and they start fighting with the elephants. I think that'd be cool.
So so the elephants are on the human side.
They're on the human side and they ride into battle. Wouldn't that be something?
It would be something. I don't know if it's good.
Here's what I'm thinking. The more outrageous the show is, the better,
It sounds pretty outrageous. I think I want to go to watch.
All right. Well, lads, coming to the end. This is the last one.
The lasty.
Yeah. The last one.
All right.
It's called Cross Ange.
Cross Ange.
Ange. Cross Ange.
all right.
All right. Starts off some girls scantily clad playing space lacrosse.
I'm on board. I like this. Space lacrosse.
Yeah. And they're going around, they're throwing their little lacrosse things, they're jiggling all about over town. And anywho, the princess, her team loses, and she's like, don't worry, everybody. We're here to be the best friends that anyone could ever imagine. They're our best friends forever. And she's like, yeah, we're best friends. And so she gets in her limo and they're just driving through the city. And they're like, everything is good in our city because of the magic. Because, it's good. And she's like, yeah, it is good. But then her limo pulls over and there's this little girl and her mom's going crazy. And she's like, no, get away. And they're like, hey, this kid's a Norma. That means it can't use magic, and it'll grow up and be evil and bad. And she's like, "No, don't take my baby away from me. It's my baby, a little bambino." And then Space Princess comes up, like, "Hey, come on. We have to take the baby away. But hey, why don't you have another child? Wouldn't that be?" And she's like, well, "Who are you? I throw a tomato at you." But then someone stops it, and they take the baby away from the mom. And she's like, all right, back in the limo. And so they're going off, and she it's a pretty good night. She's gonna get baptized the next day, and she's happy.
What's her big day?
She's out in her nightcloth, and I'm like, oh, that's a low-hanging nightcloth. You might want to scooch that up a bit. And then her mom comes out, and I'm like, okay, you might want to, tie that together with like a rope or something. It's not quite tied together, and he's just showing some skin there. But they're just sitting there having a chat. Yeah. So next morning, she's getting baptized, and so she gets in the big crystal, and suddenly
That's how mine went down.
it starts going, and everyone's like, what's going on? And then her brother shows up, and he's like, she is a Norma, and she's always been a Norma. You arrest the king. He's known about it this whole time. I'm king now. I am king. And you arrest my sister too. You get her out of here. And then the mom comes up and she rescues the sister and is like, we gotta run. And they run off, but then the coppers get to her and they're like, stop, or we'll shoot. And she's like, no, I'm not gonna stop. And then her mom runs in front of the bullet and dies there. And it's like, I want you to live on and be a hardcore, fighter girl, all right? Fight some space dragons. And she's like, all right, well, I'll do that someday. And so she goes off to prison, and then it goes back to the brother, and he goes up to his, like, little sister princess girl, who's, like, 10 or something, and he goes up and it's like, yeah, we'll rebuild the royal family with some true royal blood. What do you say, sis? And she's just there unconscious. She's, like, touching her lips. I'm like, oh, a little Game of Thrones in here. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying.
Yeah, incest.
So she goes off to, Prison Island. And she's there, and she's like, hey, I'm a princess. And they're like, no, you're kind of like prisoner now in Space Island prison.
Oh, it's Space Island?
Well, it's not in space. I'm sorry. It's just, whenever something's futuristic, I always think of it as like spacey.
Space Island. Okay.
Yeah. Anywho, this one woman comes up and is like, hey, gotta break you down. And just strips her naked, throws her on a table, and, chains her down. And, how should I say, violently molests her. And I'm like, what? And then, like, the next scene, she's, like, laying beaten up, like, blood coming out of her anus. And, yeah, it was like, wow, that took a turn? What?
Isn't this on TV?
Yeah. And then they kind of forecast that, like, hey, next episode. Basically, she's in, like, a women's prison fetish movie where, all the women are like, hey, you go over and molest the new girl. And then they get put on scantily clad fighting outfits, and they get in spaceships, and they go out and fight space dragons. The space dragons come in through a portal, and they get in, like, Gundam-y things, and they start shooting up the space dragons.
Yeah, I see that it's made by Sunrise, so
Yeah.
I like this. I want to watch it.
Yeah, I think she eventually gets in, like, a special Gundam or something. Anywho, I thought it was pretty messed up. I was like, yeah, I didn't need to see someone getting, like, bleeding from their anus. I did think Laban would be okay with it. I know after he saw that girl with the dragon tattoo rape scene, he didn't seem to mind at all. And everyone I talked to was like, yeah, that was pretty violent and bad. And he's just, whatever.
Add a Gundam in there, I give it a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, look at this. This is some good stuff.
Yeah, it was not good stuff. It was.
So it started out. Bad. Hold on. You started with she's on the lacrosse team in high school.
Yeah.
Okay.
Space lacrosse.
Yeah.
Space lacrosse.
Were they playing with their Gundams or just by themselves?
No, they're just out on, like, little.
There were no Gundams until
boards.
The end.
Yeah, when they're fighting
space
dragons.
All right, I didn't know that. I just saw a picture of it, and I saw the poster as
space
Gundam,
dragons
so
that come in through a portal, right?
A portal, yeah.
Okay.
Did they say in episode 1? Do they happen to say where the portal goes?
No, probably wherever the space dragons are from.
So in this world,
that's probably true. Yeah.
Anyone who can't use magic is a criminal.
Yeah, they're bad. They're stupid.
Yeah, and they're sent off to this like all women's prison island because only women get this thing where they can't use magic, and then they're eventually brought up to fight dragons and molest each other, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, so like I see. So the non-magic users have to go fight dragons.
Yeah.
Okay, I was thinking like that was a noble pursuit, and they were gonna try to fight the dragon somehow.
Nah. Anywho, I'm sure if you go and look for it, you'll probably see on Google a lot of people kind of upset about it being, bad.
She loves him, she hates him, she wants him, she's the girl who just wants it more. The girl from the factory floor.
Be like an old man fighting the sea, fighting the greatest marlin you've ever seen. He's just going out there and he thinks to himself, I need a catch. I haven't caught anything in 87 days.